Alright, we're gonna get educational and talk about the waves of feminism now. So, there's 3 waves of feminism. My cat really wants to mess with the camera right now. Okay, but anyway, so in the first wave of feminism, the main goal basically was to maintain women's suffrage, which in layman's terms is women's right to vote. And my cat really wants to be on camera, but you can't. You need to calm down. Okay, so women were basically just trying to achieve the right to vote, to be equal to men so that they could basically get their voice out there. Because if you don't have the right to vote, you have no voice at all. You can't vote, you're not in the political spectrum, you have nobody in office to hear your voice, and to make what you want to happen at all. You're following orders, and you're not going to get anywhere. When the first wave was happening, the way that women were protesting was by wearing pants. Basically, speaking out in general was a huge form of protest because women weren't allowed to speak out. That was masculine. Speaking out in any form was not feminine because there goes my cat. That is a male cat. Yeah, but women were meant to be quiet and to keep their mouths shut and to stay at home, and they weren't supposed to vote, they weren't supposed to work. So if a woman even said that she had an idea or that she wanted to change something, she in that way was being masculine or was being as a man by saying that she had an idea or saying that she wanted to change something. And so that was a form of protest back then. And so they made huge gains by getting women the right to vote, because they made it possible for women to incite change in the world. And without the first wave of feminism, we wouldn't be here. Feminism wouldn't be a thing. Women didn't even understand that they were creating feminism when women's suffrage came about. They were just instilling basic human rights when that was first happening. So after the first wave and women had secured their right to vote, women kind of moved from their political sorry, that was my cat again, from their political games to their home life and to their work life, and they focused more on sexism and gender roles. And so at one point in the second wave, they kind of compared men to being like slaveholders, because during the first wave and before then, men had complete control over women. Men got to dictate what women wore, how women acted. It was almost like women were raised and then they were continued to be controlled by their husbands. They went from one parent to another parent, basically. By being raised by their parents, and then they just went into another home with their husbands, almost as a father again. They were controlled sexually and as kitchen slaves and cleaning slaves. They didn't get to go to work. They didn't get to leave the home. They went and shopped for their husbands. They got to socialize with their friends, and then when their husbands needed them, they were right by their husband's sides. They didn't get to talk when their husband didn't want them to, and that was the end of it. And so during the second wave, women started to branch out. Sorry, my computer keeps going dark while I'm recording. Women started to branch out against this sexism and controlling nature, and saying, look, this is not okay, we're people. We need to change this. And so they started making gains towards education and rights for pregnancy and for work. They decided that they were going to go to work, that they could get an education. They weren't good educations, they weren't good colleges, they had to make their own colleges, but they could educate themselves so that they could get into the workforce. They were still sexist jobs, further jobs than secretaries, but still lower paying, lower wage jobs than men, but they were still something. They were furthering themselves. And these were huge gains at the time. Women had come a long way from not even being able to wear what they wanted and not be able to cut their hair, to now being able to speak up to their husbands and saying, maybe I'm not going to do the dishes tonight. Maybe I'm not going to grow up and get a husband, mom and dad. Maybe I'm going to go pay for my own education. Maybe I'm going to go to an all-girls college. Women were able to be independent at this point. Feminism had turned into this thing that was no longer a fight for rights, but now a fight for independence and ability and growth, and women kind of became their own sustainable group identity where they could work with each other and work separately. And women kind of became their own force, and it's cool. You could kind of see it see them grow as their own little population. And the third wave, feminism focuses on sex workers, pornography, and seeing all of the women who in normal society aren't categorized as normal human beings, and seeing them as normal human beings. It's a feminist goal to see all women as women no matter what they do with their lives. The third wave, and where we all are now, kind of breaks down stereotypes and womanized slang and spits it back out at society and says, yeah, we can use this against you the way that you've been using it against us. We take slut shaming and turn it back around and don't let it affect us. We take body shaming and turn it back around and don't let it affect us. We take pornography workers and tell them that they're human and that they're beautiful. We take ads that only exemplify skinny, beautiful bodies and say fat bodies are beautiful too, but we're not gonna tell skinny girls that they're not beautiful. You know, like, this is the time where, there goes my cat. This is the time where we can embrace all of these gains that we've made and build upon everything. We're not going to let go of the past. We're not only going to focus on the future. We're going to take everything, build upon it. We're going to get super radical. Some people are going to be super chill. The third wave is where everybody breaks apart, but we're still part of one category. And that's where feminism gets really complicated, because there's all types of feminists. There are radical feminists, there are angry feminists, there are lesbian feminists, there are feminists that don't agree on every part of feminism. But basically, before I go off on a tangent, those are the 3 waves of feminism. And in later videos, I will separate different categories of feminist issues, and we'll talk about them. So some of those videos will include sex work, some of those videos will include LGBT issues, some of those videos will include home life, some of those videos will include women in the workforce. So there'll be a few more videos. They're all about feminism. Stay tuned if you're interested. Stay tuned if you're not. They're informational. So I'll see you later.